Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Tishatadine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Veshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we'll see Bhagavad-Gita chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. Okay. All glories to Shri Radha Govinda. So this was chapter 6. Okay. So in chapter 6, we have already seen about yoga, and Krishna says of the best of the yogis, who's the best of the yogi? Out of all the yoga systems, so you have so many different types of yoga system, right? So which is the best yoga? You can unmute, put in the chat.
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. Yoginam api sarvesham adgade nandaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. So Krishna says, out of all the yogis, Bhakti Yogi, a yogi who always think of him in devotion, is the best, right? And then, so we have to concentrate on the Lord in full faith. So knowledge 7 begins with, stresses the process of hearing, the way of acquiring knowledge, okay, by descending process, and knowing Krishna by the process of hearing, Shravana, knowing Krishna as the source of matter and spirit, knowing Krishna as the controller of the 3 modes of material nature, right? And also we'll see who are those who surrender to Krishna and who those who doesn't surrender to Krishna and surrender to demigods and bewilderment of living entities. So Sri Bhagavan Uvaja Mai Asakta Manapartha Yoga means, okay, Amrita, you want to read? Chant?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagramam Yatagnasya Tachrunu.
Okay, Tachrunu. This word is so important. Okay, Tachrunu, listen. So now here, O son of Pritha, that is Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So it said Tat Shrunu. Shrunu means hear. Shrinvata or Shrunu means to hear. Okay. So Shrinvata means to hear. Here it is said Tat Shrunu, hear. So Arjuna had to hear from Krishna, right? So only when we surrender to a guru and we hear from the right source, then we're going to know about the absolute truth or about the knowledge. So first we have to give our ears to the Lord. So that's why 9 devotional service starts with Shravana. Doesn't start with Kirtanam. It starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Unless you hear, you won't be able to understand the Lord. For example, you're just 20 years old and your father told you to go to the railway station and pick up his old friend. and your father didn't see that friend for 30 years. So that means before you were born, their friendship was there, and you didn't even know that friend. You don't know how he looks and anything. So what you do, you hear from your father how that person looks, and the father start explaining. He has a beard, he has specs, and that this, and then you go to the railway station, you identify the right person. So unless you hear from the Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, how will we be able to understand Krishna? So now Krishna says, Arjuna, just hear from him. Okay, that's Shrono. So we know the 9 process of devotional service. In that, Shravanam is most important. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Idi Pumsarpida Vishnu, Bhaktishchanna Valakshanam, Kriyate Bhagavati Adha Tanmani Aditamuttamam. So 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says to his father, Hiranyakashipu, that these 9 are the best of devotional service. And here you can see, just by hearing, Parikshit Maharaj got salvation. Just by Kirtanam, Shukadeva Goswami got liberated. Then he's already liberated. Remembering by Prahlad, Lakshmi Devi did Pada Sevanam. Prithu Maharaj did worship Akrura, Vandanam, Hanuman, Dasya, Arjuna, Sakya, and Bali Maharaj surrender. Okay, and who's the one who did all the 9 devotional service? Put in the chat. Anyone knows? All the 9 devotional service was done by who? Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo, Ambarish Maharaj. Yes. So he did all the 9 devotional service. So you can see hearing, chanting, remembering. Okay, all this are done by different devotees. Okay, so that's true. No, first we have to hear from the Lord. Jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam vakshyami asheshataha yajnatva neha bhuyonyat. Oh, I always forget. Amrita, you just unmute and start chanting. Okay, next sloka. Jnatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. So the Lord is going to say that knowledge to Arjuna or to us, that by knowing this, nothing further has to be known. See, in material degrees, how much ever you study this, more degrees. And again, from the next life, you have to start from A for apple, now from LKG. But in spiritual life, it's not like that. Whatever you stopped, you start from where you stopped, right? So here the Lord is saying about the knowledge of the absolute. So Lord Krishna explains full knowledge to Arjuna. What is real knowledge? To know the difference between matter and spirit. Okay, so complete knowledge is a transcendental knowledge. Okay, and which is phenomenal. That is knowledge acquired by perceived by senses. So it's vijnanam. It's numinous because the knowledge is about the spirit soul. Okay. So that's the real knowledge. Knowing this, nothing more has to be known, because just by knowing this, we can go back to Krishna. And controller of both is Lord Krishna, and he is the source of all knowledge. So Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about the qualification to hear. So Bhaktosi Sakha Cheti, that you should be a devotee, and Sakha, a friend. Okay. Yeah, so the Lord keeps speaking about the supreme, the absolute truth in so many chapters, because he's emphasizing us that we have to take shelter of only him. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Okay, and he is the cause of all cause, sarva karana karanam. He's the source of all knowledge. Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. It's the only object for meditation of all yoga process. We have to meditate on the Lord. But not everyone will be able to succeed in this endeavor. Manish, yes, Amrita.
Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, right? And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows the Lord in truth. This sloka you can memorize. Okay, Manushyanam sahasreshu. Sahasra means thousands. Manushya means men. So out of thousands of men, Kashit Yadadi Siddhe. So some of them want to know the Lord. See, this Bhagavad-Gita course is free online, but not everybody is coming. Only people like you are coming. Why? Not everyone is interested, and not everyone have that punya to understand Bhagavad-Gita. Yadadam abhisiddhanam. Out of them, kashit mam vedi tatvada. Tatvada means truth. Only some can know the Lord. So many will start with a marathon race, but not everyone succeed. In between, they become tired. So in spiritual life, sometimes we get a bogus guru or a wrong guru, and then our path is completely lost. or we just fall into Maya. Bhumirapo, yeah, even this sloka you need to memorize. Yes, Amrita. Now Krishna explains his energy. Are you there? Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammanor buddhirevaja ahankaramiti yamme binna prakritirashtata. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, that's 8 of them. They constitute Krishna's separate energy. So Krishna have how many energies? Anyone knows? And what are they? What are the different type of energies of the Lord, and what are they? Yes.
Para.
Okay. Then what else? Para is vidya. Para vidya. Yes, energies. Internal and external. Yes, Ganesh Bhat Prabhu. Internal, external, one more. Internal, external, one more is there. Marginal. Right? So internal energy is the Andaranga Shakti of the Lord. Okay, that's the pleasure potency of the Lord, like Radharani. Then external energy is the Bahiranga Shakti, which is the material nature. We can see the 3 modes of material nature. And there's marginal energy, which is called Tadastha Shakti, which are the living entities, us. And also there is superior and inferior energies. Yes, we are the marginal energies of the Lord. Why are we called marginal? We can either go near to the internal energy or to the external. We are in between. Okay, so all of us are the energies of the Lord. This earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego are also Krishna's energies. Different types of energies. Amrita, are you there?
Yes, Mataji.
You can chant.
अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यं प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतं महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्.
Beside these, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resource of this material inferior nature. So one is internal energy, marginal energy, external energy. Another type of classification is superior energy and inferior energy. Superior energy is us, the living entities. Inferior energy is the material nature. So you can see the material nature is the inferior nature, and the superior is the us. So the living entities are also Krishna's energy. Krishna says, Mahamevamsho Jivaloke Jiva Buddha Sanadana. We are also part and parcel of the Lord. So we are also Krishna's energy. Okay. The source is there and the energy is coming from the source. So Krishna is the source of everything. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, intelligence, false ego. All these are Krishna's energy. So here it says the planetary expansion is also complete, okay, for material creation. So Krishna expands as the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So, okay, so Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the one who is lying and in the Garbhodakshay ocean, and from his abdomen, the navel, the lotus comes, and in that Brahma and all the planetary systems is there. Kshirodakshay Vishnu is the Paramatma in us, and Karanadakshay Vishnu is from whom all the universes comes out. Okay, so the 3 guna avatars. We are all Krishna's avatars only, but then this is planetary expansion. So Purusha avatars. Okay, this is Purusha avatar. Guna avatars are Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So Purusha avatar, these are creates the total material energy, which is called the Mahat Tattva, and enters into every universe and create diversities. The Lord can even enter into every atom and maintain a super soul. Andandarasta paramanu cheyandarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He can enter even into the atom, right? So do not know, if we do not know Krishna, because we think the material world is for enjoying for the living entities. No, this is actually to make us understand, realize the fact we are here temporary, we need to go back. So living entities are Purusha in one way, because we think we are Purusha, but we are not the real Purusha. The real Purusha is Purushottama, is Krishna. Bhoktarameta tabasam sarvaloka maheshwana. Okay, so we are all temporary, and all activities are directed by the 3 Vishnus. And then there are the gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. This constitute different energies of the Lord. Okay, so our body is also made up of that. Whatever we see in the material nature is also made up of that. And the subtle elements, the mind, intelligence, and false ego, also comes as his energy. So knowing about Krishna is what is very important. Okay, so beside the inferior energy, Lord Krishna's superior energy are the living entities. So Krishna's energy or Shaktis, okay, what are they? You have the Antaranga Shakti, this is the internal energy of the Lord, and then you have the Tadastha Shakti or the marginal energy. Then you also, that's the soul or the Jivas. Then Bahiranga or external energy, which is the material world or the material nature. So these are the three different types of energies of the Lord: internal energy, marginal, and external. Okay, so external is the material world, and marginal is as the soul, the jivas. And in material world, again, there is gross, that is earth, water, fire, air, ether. Subtle is mind, intelligence, false ego. So you understand this? This is what is very important. Okay, and what do? We try to enjoy. Okay, this sloka is also important. You need to memorize this. Yes, Amrita.
मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव.
Matta paradaram na niyat. Krishna says there's nobody superior to me. Can someone type in the chat? What do you mean by superior? What is superior? I mean, why do we say someone is superior or someone is the supreme person in our in our office or wherever it is? What do you mean by superior? That position. Krishna says there's no one superior to him. And Mai Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Manigana Iva. You can see the pearl necklace is been in the thread, but you can't see the thread, but it's holding. Similarly, Krishna holds the whole universe. Nobody knows the meaning of superior. Okay, I'll unmute. Why do you say the boss is the superior in your company?
Is it because of opulence as Krishna holds?
Okay, that is one thing. Then. No, I'm asking the meaning of the word superior. Nothing
above
other than
everybody else.
Yeah, above everyone. And what else? That's one definition. Above everyone. And then one more. So that means nobody is above him and nobody is equal to him. Right? So that is what the main meaning of superior. So you have the boss in the company. So that means if the boss go for a vacation, there might be a PA or someone assisting him, someone as a temporary post. But still, he is the boss, right? He has to sanction for anything. So that means nobody is equal to him. And is there anyone superior to him? No, he is the supreme controller. He is the person who's controlling the main office. Similarly, Krishna himself says, Matta Paradaram Nan Anyat. There's nobody superior to him. That means no one above him, no one equal to him. This we should understand. If we know this word meaning, then we know Krishna is the supreme. Okay, and he says, as the pearls are being strung in the thread, he holds all the universe together. O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, Krishna, Arjuna's another name is Dhananjaya. He conquered wealth. There is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on the thread. So here the different opulences of Krishna has been mentioned. Okay, so that means he is what in what. So he is a taste of water. Rasoham apsu kaundeya prabhasmi shashisuyeyo. Right? Pranava sarva vedeshu shaptake paurusham risham. So it says rasoham apsu kaundeya. He's the taste of water. He's the light of sun and moon. It said Krishna's eyes are the sun and moon. And among the Vedic mantras, he's the Om, and among ether, he's the sound. Among man, he's the ability. In the earth, he's fragrance. In the fire, he's the heat. All that lives, he's the life. Of all aesthetics, he's the penance. Of all existence, he's the original seed. And he is the intelligence of the intelligent, and he's all powerful. He's the most strongest, and he is the sex life which is not contradictory to religious practice. Dharma aviruddha kamosmi, he says. Yes, Amrita.
एचैव सात्विका भावा राजस्तामसश्चये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि नत्वाहं तेषु ते मही.
Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I'm independent. I'm not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So the Lord is Swarat, independent. He's not been under the control of the three modes. He's above the three modes. Which is that mode which is above the three modes? Type. Which is the mode above the three modes? You know, anyone knows? The three modes are Sattva, Rajas, Tama, Guna, right? There's one mode which is above the three modes. And what is that? pure goodness. Vaishnava, yeah, Vaishnava, Vasudeva, yes, that's called the Vasudeva platform, or Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shaktitam. So that's Shuddha Sattvagun, or pure goodness. So the Lord is above the three modes. That means he's in pure goodness, right? And he's independent, he's aloof. He is not bound by karma or anything, right? So that we should know. So you can see we are all like puppets in the hands of the three modes, but Krishna is above the three modes. That's why he's called transcendental. He's above the three modes. And so also say Krishna is nirguna. Krishna is the origin of the modes, not within the modes. Therefore, he is called nirguna. So sometimes the Mayavadis, they say Saguna, Nirguna. There are two terms. Saguna means with all the qualities. Yes, Krishna have all the qualities. But then they say Nirguna, that Krishna doesn't have qualities. No, Krishna doesn't have material qualities. He has spiritual qualities. So all material activities are conducted under the three modes, and these three modes are emanating from the Supreme Lord, and he is not subordinate to him. Okay, so analogy, you can see the king or the lawmaker is not subject to the state laws. The king makes the law, or the lawmaker makes the law, but he's not bound by it, right? So you can see the jail keeper or the superintendent of the jail, he goes and visits the jail, but he's not a culprit, or he is not behind the bars. He's just working there and supervising. The Lord is supervising the material world. It doesn't mean he is also under the control of the three modes. No, he's above the three modes. Okay, so that's why it's called nirguna, because he doesn't have any material qualities. He have only spiritual qualities. So later on it says, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know the Lord, but he is above the three modes and inexhaustible. Yes, Amrita, this is an important sloka. You should memorize.
दैवी हेषा गुणामयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते.
So here Krishna says, Mama Maya Dhuratyaya. The Maya, the material nature, is also Krishna's energy. The divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. It's very difficult to overcome. But Mameva ye prabatyante Maya etam taranti. If you take shelter of the Lord, you can cross. Those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Okay, so if you surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, so you are drowning in the ocean, nobody to help, but some helicopter comes and picks you, or a boatman comes and picks you, so definitely you are saved. Similarly, we are all in this Maya, material energy. But then if we surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will take us across the material ocean. Devi Shakunimai Mama Maya Durite. Krishna says that Maya is also him, his energy. So you can see we are drowning in the ocean. But then if the Lord comes and pulls us, then we are safe. So we are drowning in the ocean of birth, death, old age, and disease, right? But only if you surrender to the Lord can we get out of this. Mameva prabatyante maya etam tarantite. There's so many slokas, beautiful slokas in this chapter. Now we'll see who are the four types of people who doesn't surrender to Krishna. Yes.
नमां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः.
Namam Tushkridina Muda. First is the Mudas, or the fools. Prabatyande Naradama. Naradama means lowest of mankind. Maya Apahrita Jnana. Maya has captured their knowledge. And Asuram Bhavamashritam, like demons or atheists. These are the four kind of people who doesn't surrender to Krishna, and they are called Dushkritina. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, who partake in the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So foolish like an ass. No, you can see grossly foolish like hardworking asses. So what they'll do, they have to carry lot of weight on their back by the washerman or something, and then they get a bunch of grass, but grass is available everywhere, and they just work hard like an ass. That's like Mudas, or grossly foolish, right? So then lowest among mankind is Naradamas. We'll see who are they, like Jagai Madai. Then you have the Maya Apahrita Jnana. The knowledge has been stolen by illusion, like great scientists and all of them. They are like having frog philosophy. They don't believe in Shastra. They have knowledge, but it's been captured by Maya. And Asuram, they are envious towards God. They are atheistic, demonic people. So you can see the first example is this Muda, like an ass. So much weight he carries, but for what? Small little bunch of grass. And then he don't know and understand what is happening. Then the Naradamas, like Jagai Madai, who were so lowest of mankind that they even hit Nityananda Prabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to come. So, right? And also you can see Asuras. like Ravan, so much he's intelligent, but then still what happened? He had a bad death. So all of them, they doesn't surrender to Krishna. Now Krishna says, who are the 4 types of people who surrenders to him? Yes, Mataji.
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभा.
So 4 kind of people surrenders to Krishna. Chaturvida bhajante. Who are they? Artho, that is who is in distress. Jitnyasu, who wants to know, who's inquisitive. Artharthi, who wants more money, and Jnani, who wants knowledge. O best among Bharatas Arjuna, 4 kind of pious men render devotional service to me. The distressed, Artho, desire of wealth, Artharthi, inquisitive, Jitnyasu, and Jnani, who's searching for knowledge. And who do you think among these 4 is the best? All 4 are Sukritis. Okay, they are pious because they're going to Krishna. But among these 4, who is the Sukritis? You can unmute and say, who's the best? Krishna says in the next sloka, who's the best?
Jnani.
Why?
Pious man.
Why Jnani?
The service to the Krishna.
All 4 are rendering devotional service. But by Jnani is the best, or who wants knowledge is the best. Yes, Jnani, why?
Because he's searching the knowledge of absolute, like he's searching the knowledge of Krishna.
So, yes,
he doesn't need, his needs are not material in nature.
Yes, very good.
Spiritual in nature.
Yes, that's the right answer. So that means a Jnani doesn't want anything else from the Lord, just to know about him. Yes, Neha Mataji, he only wants to know God. Right? He's selfless. Yes, Nandakishore Prabhu. So he doesn't want anything. He just wants to know about the Lord. And Lord himself says that that's what we should do. Janma karma cha metityam evam yoveti tatpadaha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti ma medi sorjana. So janma, karma, all these are divyam or transcendental. And if we know about the Lord, janma and karma, then no more coming back. So Jnanis are the best. Why? Because they don't want anything else, and they do anyabhilashi dashunyam. That means no more desires, no material desires, only spiritual desires. Okay, now quickly you can unmute and say the first picture is who, and he belongs to which category of the 4?
Distress.
Gajendra is in distress. Second one,
Draupadi, distress.
Draupadi, distress. Third,
So Shukdev
Parikshit Maharaj.
Goswami.
Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami is in the womb.
Yeah.
Shukadev Goswami is in the womb of Vatika, that is Vyasdev. And Krishna comes, and she belongs to which category?
Jnani.
No. She's
Distress only.
she's in distress.
Distress. Okay.
She is in distress because what happened when Vyasdev's wife Vatika was pregnant, Shukadev Goswami was inside the womb, and Vyasdev went on explaining Srimad Bhagavatam for 16 years. Shukadev Goswami was in the womb of Vatika. Just imagine, 16 years a baby is in the mother's womb. What is the mother's condition? So she was in distress and she was praying, Krishna, please help me. Let the baby come out. And the baby was not coming out. Shukadev Goswami said, if I come out, Maya will capture me. But later on, Krishna came and said, don't worry. You're going to be my servant. Anyone know who Shukadev Goswami was? Yes, Dinesh Prabhu. He was not coming out of the womb. Dinesh Prabhu knows who Shukadev Goswami was eternally. Anybody knows?
He is parrot of Radharani.
Very good. He is the parrot of Radharani. He's Shuka. Shuka and Shari are the 2 parents of Radharani. There's a story which I'll say later on. Remind me, okay, towards the end of the class, I'll tell you how this parrot became Shukadev Goswami. Very interesting. So, okay, the 4th one is, who is this?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Which category he belongs to?
Knowledge.
Inquisitive.
Inquisitive. He wants to know about the Lord, right? He's inquisitive to know. In 7 days, I'm going to die. What should I do? And all that. Okay, this picture, the third, down.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj. He belongs to which
Desire
category?
of wealth.
Yeah, yes. So Artharthi, he wants wealth. He wants to become a king better than his father. Then this one?
Hanuman.
No.
Sugriv.
No,
Sugriv.
Sugriv.
Why did Sugriv come to make friendship with Lord Ram?
Desire of wealth.
Not wealth, he wants his wife back from Bali. So yes, that is also a wealth kind of Artharthi. And the last one?
Naimisharanya.
The sages in the Naimisharanya. So where they belong to which category?
Seeking knowledge.
Yeah, jnani is very good. Seeking knowledge. Okay. So this is how we belong to which category? Most of us, 90% of people were in distress, especially during Corona and all. They came to Krishna consciousness. But once you come to Krishna consciousness, Krishna won't leave you. That's the magic of Krishna consciousness. Like Putana, when Krishna caught hold of her, he never left her. So that's Krishna's mercy. But then most of us, because of distress, some of us because of wealth, whatever it is, they are Sukritis, Krishna says. But as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we should know Krishna will take care of all the needs, and then we don't have to worry about the needs. We need to just concentrate on our devotional service and make it pure. So these are the 4 kind of people. And who's the best? Jnani, right? Among the 4, Jnani is the best. Why? There are 3 reasons. Because he's in full knowledge of the absolute truth and he's free from all material desires. He engages in pure devotional service and Lord becomes very dear to him. Okay. And when one is in pure knowledge of the transcendental Lord, the material contamination cannot touch him. So Jnani is the best because he does pure devotional service. Others, once they get wealth, they'll forget Krishna. Once they get relieved of their distress, they'll forget Krishna. Temporary bhaktas they are, just temporary. But many of them come like that, but later on they become pure devotees. Yes, Amrita. Are you there?
Yes, Mataji. Udara sarva evaiti jnane tvatmaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mame vantatma gatim.
Amrita, just take care of the background noise, okay? All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge, that is Jnani of me, is considered to be the best, because just like my own self, being engaged in my transcendental service, he's sure to attain me the highest and most perfect knowledge. So when you read Bhagavad-Gita, you should not read, you should study Bhagavad-Gita. Prabhupada says you should scrutinizingly study. Whenever you study, you should have a small notebook with you. And then you note down a small diary or something, and you note down the important slokas. This should be exclusively for Bhagavad Gita and all studying Shastras. Keep it ready and then start writing. Whenever you're reading the Prabhupada's books, the purpose, there'll be very nice statements, sentences, which will give you a positive motivation in life. Just write it down and it'll help you. If you're not don't want to be a preacher, it's okay. But at least for your self-improvement or self-realization, it's good. And when you see some nice slokas, note it down and try to memorize the slokas, because Prabhupada says if you're going to become a preacher, then you should quote Shastras. Otherwise, your philosophy won't be accepted by the public. So we should always try to be jnani. We should try to know more about the Lord. Just knowing about the Lord doesn't help, but then we should increase our devotion towards him. So this is a very important sloka in this chapter. Zamrita. So it says, after so many janmas, we get Krishna.
Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who's actually in knowledge surrenders to me. Okay, knowing that Krishna is the cause of all cause. Such great souls are very rare. Samahatma sudurlabha. Durlabha means rare. Sudurlabha means very rare. Okay, Bahunam Janmana Ante. Why not everyone is coming to Krishna consciousness? No, did you all think about it? In other temples, there's so much of rush, but you don't see much. Okay, nowadays we see much rush in ISKCON, but still not less people. Why? Krishna himself says, after many births and deaths, then only will you know that Vasudeva Sarvaidi, that Krishna, Vasudeva, is the cause of all cause, and then you surrender. And such Mahatmas or great souls are very, very rare. So we are so fortunate to come to Krishna consciousness, because we are in the right track, and because only Krishna or Vishnu can give you mukti. Right? Mukti pradada sarvesham Vishnur evana samshaya. There's no doubt that only Vishnu can give you mukti. So we need to surrender to him. Others can give you material benefits. Later on it comes, the demigod worship, things will come. So we should do bhakti or devotional service, and it is very rare. Okay. So realization of one full in knowledge, we should know that Krishna is the supreme personality Godhead, and he's our ultimate goal of spiritual realization. Therefore, we should surrender to him. And we should know that the spiritual life is full of activity. It's not dry. It's so much of activities and varieties are there. So material world is a perverted reflection of spiritual activities. So now we should practice from here, and when we get liberated, we'll go there and we do more devotional service. So we should understand that Lord is the cause of all cause, sarva karana karana. Okay, then we can surrender to the Lord. So realizing the dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy. This is the beginning. So what is the beginning? To give up attachment of material things, and we should get attached to Krishna. Okay, and later on we will do a lot of activities in spiritual life, that is devotional service and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then our life is successful. So bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam pravatite vasudeva sarva iti samahatma sudurlapa. It's very rare to see such souls. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. So when we worship demigods, what happens? We get things which are temporary. Okay, so we should water the root of the tree or put food into the stomach. If you water the root of the tree, what happens? All the part gets nourished. So I am in everyone's heart as super soul, and as soon as one desire to worship some demigod, I make the faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So it's the Lord who makes our faith strong. Okay, so if we want something, then we can directly go to Krishna, right? Krishna says, you come to me. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So it said, no, yati deva yata deva pidriyante pidrivrita bhutani yadi bhutecha yati matyajinopimam. So if we worship demigods, we go to their planets, heavenly planets. So what will happen if you go to heavenly planets? Imagine I went to Brahmalok, or I am in some other heavenly planets. Then what will happen to my soul?
Yes, Mataji, when the punyas are over, you take rebirth.
Yeah, we take rebirth on earth, right? So what is the use of going to heavenly planets? Shine punyam martyalogam vishanti. And also to Brahma's world, Brahma bhuvanarloga punar avartinorjuna mamum petitu kaundeya punar janmana vidyate. Krishna says, even if we go to Brahma's world, there's punar janma. But if we go to Krishna, there's no punar janma. So what should we do? We should try to go back to spiritual world, which is above the material world. Then if you go to Krishna, no more coming back. Krishna says that, right? Yeah, so that is rebirth is there even if you go to heavenly planets. So demigod worshippers consider us as less intelligent. Why? Because they're asking temporary things. For example, just imagine one thing happened. This was the story said by Srila Prabhupada's guru. So one lady was going with a lot of firewood. Okay, she was carrying. It was so heavy, and she was sweating, and she was tired, and she called Krishna, please help. And somehow Krishna appeared in front of her, the Supreme Lord, and asked her, what do you want? So what did she ask? She could have asked anything. She could have asked for moksha. She could have asked for anything, but she asked, please put this bundle of wood from my head to my shoulders. Just shift it. And Krishna was like, what? You're asking for this? I can give you anything, but you're asking for just a small thing. So we are going to Narayana and we are asking only Lakshmi. Just want money. I don't want you, Narayana, but I want Lakshmi, your wife. And she's Chanchala. She sits in a lotus flower and she shakes. But if you want Narayan himself, then Lakshmi will definitely follow. Right? So Krishna Bhakta Bada Chatur, because we are going to the right track, right? So if the king wants to come to your house, I mean, some prime minister or someone, then the whole road and everything will be automatically repaired and it will be like first class, right? You don't have to ask for small things, but you ask the main person, you get everything. So here it is said, the intelligence is stolen by the material desires, okay, for the demigod worshippers. And best of choice of worshippers, they worship in the different modes and they have lack of knowledge about Krishna. So they should know that Krishna is the source of everything. And Krishna makes the faith steady in the particular demigod worship. It's not wrong. Shastra also permits demigod worship, but then along with that, you should worship Krishna also. Okay. Yeah, she is innocent, but it's kind of foolish thing. No, that's why. Okay, so result of going to the demigod planets is, again we come back to the place of misery, which is birth, death, old age, disease. But Krishna's devotees, what happens? We go back to Krishna's world. So result of devotional services unto Krishna is unlimited and eternal. But when we worship demigods, everything is perishable. Whatever we get, we can't take it to the next life or anything. Yes, Amrita. Is it time? Okay.
अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यते मामबुद्धयाः परं भावमजानन्तो मम भव्यम् अनुत्तमम्.
Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So unintelligent people think that Lord was impersonal. The Mayavadis, they think the Lord doesn't have a form. If he doesn't have a form, then why is this Shastras describing about his different features? Why is the different Swayambhus have deities of Vrindavan have appeared? No, so they are just doing mental concoction, and they don't believe that Lord has a form. We have a form, and why can't the Lord, Supreme Lord, has a form? And Krishna says, I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I'm covered by my external creative potency, the Yogamaya, and so deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. So it is said, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavridaha modo ayam nabhijanadi logo mam ajamavyayam. Naham prakasha sarvasya. He is not visible to everyone. And what happens? Yogamaya will cover them. Okay. So he's not visible to unintelligent people. Lord Krishna never manifests to the foolish and unintelligent. And qualification to understand Krishna is only for pure devotees like Pandavas, Bhishma, and etc. And except devotees, all consider him as normal person. So avajananti mamoda manushim tanumashritam. They don't understand Krishna. They think he's an ordinary person. But devotee can understand. So impersonalists, they don't know Lord as unborn or infallible, and Supreme Lord of the absolute truth hides from the foolish and unintelligent people. They won't be able to understand. They won't be able to take it. Lord gets covered by his internal potency. Okay, and later on he says, O son of Bharata, O conqueror of foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Right? So when your papa gets ended, then your devotional service will start. Okay, so that's very important, that we are all doing sinful activities in a previous life, but later on we get purified. Okay, yes, Amrita.
जरा मरण मोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् आध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम्.
Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about the transcendental activities. So intelligent persons, they want liberation. They won't want anything from old age and death. So they do devotional service. Okay. So Yachantihi Sumedasa. Only the best intelligent people will take to devotional service. Yes.
साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः.
Those in full consciousness of Krishna, who knows Krishna as the Supreme Lord to be the governing principle of the material manifestations of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. That's very important, right? Tomorrow's chapter. So this sloka is the link to the next chapter. Now, Arjuna is going to ask, how can we know you at the time of death? Antakalesya mameva. You can see here. Who is this? Put in the chat. So in full consciousness of the Lord can know him at the time of death. So this personality, even at the time of death, could see Krishna and could chant the holy name of the Lord and go back to him. He's a pure devotee, Bhishma Devi, yes. And so to see the Lord, even at the time of death, that's very important. That is our real test. So devotees can know Krishna at the time of death and can go back to him. So beginning with association of devotees, we should associate with devotees, and we should never deviate from the path of understanding Krishna, and should understand Krishna in association with devotees, and should understand that the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even at the time of death, we will never forget Krishna and will remember him. That's why we're chanting Hare Krishna every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, and Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So at the end of level 2, you should chant 4 rounds so that you can go to level 3. Okay, so all of you start increasing your rounds. Those who are doing 1 round, 2 round, please make it 4, because towards the end of the course, only if you want to go to level 3, you should at least be chanting 4 rounds. Okay. Then, so we have 3 kind of miseries, right? Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva, and Adi Yajna. So all of them will be taken care, and we should be with determination. We should have Dhrita Vrita in bhakti. First is Ado Shraddha. We should have so much faith, and we should have determination, so that Krishna will help us. So if you do that, then definitely we can go back to the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any questions? So this last sloka is the connecting link to the next chapter, the 8th chapter. We'll see how Bharat Maharaj and what happened to Ajamila and all that. Yes, Ketavi Mataji, you can unmute.
Nothing, Mataji. Sukadev Goswami's story you were going to share.
Thank you for reminding. So what happened, as Dinesh Prabhu said, Shukadev Goswami was a parrot of Radharani. Shuka and Shari, 2 parrots. Okay, so Shukadev Goswami and the 2 parrots are the one who decides the pastimes of Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. So they decides the places. So they see the place, but it's actually Vrinda Devi or Tulsi Maharani who decides where the pastime should happen. So one day Shuka, the parrot, saw a beautiful place and went directly to Radharani and told, that's a nice place, you can do your pastime today there. But then Radharani is like, you did an offense, you have to go to Tulsi Maharani and say, but you came to me, now for this offense you have to take birth on earth. So he was feeling bad, but Krishna said, don't worry, even if you're taking birth, you're already liberated and you'll become my best devotee and you will be preaching my glories. So he was flying and coming, and in Kailas, Lord Shiva was explaining Bhagavatam to Mata Parvati, and Shuka bird heard, and Lord Shiva was so angry at the bird that the bird even flew down. So then there, on earth, Vyasadev was explaining Bhagavatam to his wife Vatika, and it was the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vatika was so much in ecstasy, she was like shocked and her mouth was open. The bird just went inside, fearing Lord Shiva. So Shuka, the parrot, went inside the womb of Vatika, and it is said he got converted to Shukadeva Goswami, the embryo. And then he stayed, because Vyasadev, he's the compiler of Bhagavatam, and he was going on explaining Bhagavatam, that Shukadeva Goswami didn't want to come out. He stayed there for 16 years in his mother's womb. And Vatika was so tired and in distress that finally they had to call Krishna and told him, please let this baby come out. The moment Shukadeva Goswami was born, he ran to the forest. He didn't even want to stay there because he thought Maya might capture him, and he was meditating on the impersonal form. But later on, Vyasadev sent his 2 disciples to the forest and chanted 2 important nice slokas of Bhagavatam, describing the beautiful form of the Lord. And Shukadeva Goswami came back, learned Bhagavatam from his father Vyasadev, and later on told this Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And that's how Shuka, the parrot of Radharani, became Shukadeva Goswami. Okay. Hare Krishna, Harshari Mataji, any questions? How to overcome ego? That's a very tough question, but then we should understand that we are the servant of the Lord, and there's nobody more less qualified than me. If we think Trinatapi Sunichana Tarurapi Sahishnana, I'm nothing. Whatever I have, it's all Krishna's. When Mrityu Sarva Harasyaham, death will take everything from me. So this false ego is because of the thought that, oh, I am everything, I know everything, or I am the best. Now that false ego comes. But when we know we are nothing, we are just servant of the Lord, servants and servants of the Lord, when we keep understanding. So how to decrease ego is associate with devotees. When you associate, make friendship with devotees, you understand you are nothing. There are much better devotees than you, and they're doing very well. And then you feel like, oh, that puffed up, that ahankar will go and false ego will go. And by associating with devotees, definitely the ego will just splash. And Krishna doesn't like his devotees being proud, so Krishna will crush it. Some kind of things will happen in your life, your ego will get crushed. So that's just time will take care of it. So be patient and chant Hare Krishna, all the anarthas will go. While studying Bhagavad-Gita, some devotees don't read slokas, they just read meaning of sloka and purports only. What do you suggest? If you're not good at Sanskrit, then it's okay. You can just skip the slokas and go to translation and purports. That's okay. But slowly try to read. It's said in Bhagavatam, I don't remember the verse, there it is said, even if you wrongly spell the Sanskrit slokas, still Krishna accepts it. Krishna likes it. So otherwise, you'll never learn Sanskrit verses. I mean, we are not Sanskrit Pandits, we don't know Sanskrit, but still, we try to, Prabhupada has given it in English, try to read the word-to-word meaning, try to chant the slokas. But if you don't want to do offense and you want to skip it, that's okay. It's up to you. There are devotees who read only purports. There are devotees who read only translation and purports. Purports are very important. Bhaktivedanta purports is very important. You should read it. Slokas is up to you. If you can, but better, even if it's wrong, you can slowly try to practice it. True ego is good, yes, that to know that we are servants of Krishna, that's a true ego. So false ego is the wrong thing. And even then, we should not be proud we are servants of Krishna. We should not be proud we are devotees of Krishna. No, we are nothing. We should be devotees of the devotees of Krishna. Not Krishna doesn't like when you worship him. Krishna likes when you worship his devotees. Okay, Hare Krishna. So any other question? Any other question, Harshali Mataji? I think we are done.